A binder labeled "Public copy of board materials containing board meeting materials" is available for public view at the table at the side of the room. Meeting agendas are also available there. Public may also access school board agendas by visiting rrps.org. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Nicole Dahl told me she would not make it this evening, as Jody West will not make it also. So, just 5 of us here this evening. We have a deletion, a couple of edits to the agenda. We are going to add, this resignation, Stephanie Strand resignation. We'll add that to the consent agenda. And make that 4.22. And then, we are gonna delete 6.2. That needs a little bit more, background info. I'm sure that'll come up in the near future, so we're gonna delete 6.2. Any other additions or deletions to the agenda? Go ahead.
I would just like to pull 4.11, just to find out more about this
We
position.
can do that.
We'll do that
That's
when
it.
we,
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the amended agenda.
Motion by Reardon,
I second.
second by Westby. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Recognition of visitor input. We had 3 sign up ahead of time. Cassie is first. Remind all speakers, we have 3 minutes to state your piece.
Good evening, members of the school board. I wanted to formally introduce myself. I'm Cassie Strand, and I will be your girls hockey head coach this coming season. I stand before you tonight because my name, my professionalism, and my integrity have been unfairly attacked. For months, I have sat in silence while hearsay and outright slander about me have circulated through this community. That silence ends tonight. My voice deserves to be heard. My reputation deserves to remain intact. I'm so proud of the culture I've built within this program in such short amount of time. My players will tell you themselves. I've celebrated their accomplishments, challenged them to grow, and created a team culture that they are proud to be a part of. After our season ended, I didn't walk away. Coach Lutzka and I volunteered our own time at a 12U girls tournament in Hoyt Lakes, alongside our players to support our future players. Because that is what leadership looks like, showing up, giving back, and setting an example. My athletes have asked me for guidance in their other sports. I've gone to watch them play softball, volleyball, I've watched them graduate, I've witnessed them celebrate their success of getting their driver's license, I've celebrated their birthdays when we have practice, and I've just simply talked to them about how their home and school life has been, because I care about them as people, not just hockey players. That is what a role model does. I, along with Coach Lutzka, sat in the back of the bus once with our entire team. I just wish you would have asked me why. Our season just came to a heartbreaking end after the section championship game. One I know many of us will never forget. The bus driver asked that we don't play loud music or take any team photos together as it distracts him. So, out of respect, we moved. We laughed, we cried, we sang songs, and we shared memories as a group. That is not misconduct. That is what team culture is. That is what showing young athletes that you can celebrate together in times of sadness, with pride, with joy, and with respect. It has also been questioned what I was seen in the off-season with players entering the arena. I had 2 seniors reach out to me for their jerseys so they could have them for their senior photo sessions this coming summer. To my knowledge, I am the only coach that was contacted. The date and time were pre-scheduled among the 3 of us, and I spent no more than 15 minutes at the arena that day. Why does it feel like I am being watched? And if that is seen as misconduct or a red flag, then I have questions. I'd like to address social media. I have a very strong belief about it, especially Snapchat. Social media is a part of our team handbook. Ask any of my players what the rules are. They know it. I do not, nor have I ever, had an underage player on my social media. That is a line I have never crossed. To simply imply otherwise is insulting, and it disrespects the standards I've upheld both as a coach and as a professional. What is unprofessional is that my personal life and my relationships have been dragged into this conversation. That has no place here. I am being judged on gossip instead of facts, and what is not only unfair to me, it is unfair to my athletes who deserve stability and truth from the adults that are leading them. Beyond the rink, I am a social worker. For the past 5 years, I have served children and families within St. Louis County. That is not just a job, it's a calling. It requires professionalism, compassion, and integrity, the very same qualities I bring into coaching every single day. I have a work history in mental health, a minor in psychology, a college certificate in alcohol and drug counseling. The toll my own mental health these past few months has brought, I would not wish upon any of you. I have built something here worth protecting, and I will continue to show my players that it is okay to advocate for what they believe in. This is a program based on pride, respect, accountability, and growth. My athletes know it, their families know it, and I will not let hearsay and slander attempt to tear it down any longer. With that being said, I look forward to seeing you all at the rink this winter, and I am so excited for our season to get underway. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Cassie. It takes bravery to do that. Thank you.
Next up is Molly Peltier.
Good evening. My name is Molly Peltier. My family and I live in Virginia. I'm here again to talk about music. First, I want to express my gratitude to Dr. Schmidt, Principal Manny, and Director Jennifer Bonner for the conversations you have been willing to have with the Rockridge Music Task Force. It is heartening to see that you are open to finding real solutions. As we've been having these discussions, a question has become somewhat more urgent in my mind. Individual board members have in the past expressed that, of course, they value music, citing decisions they have made in a personal context for their own families. However, I am much more concerned with whether you value it now and what you plan to do in your current capacity as a school board member to support music curriculum in our schools. You sought out this position of leadership and influence, I assume because you wanted a hand in shaping the destiny of this new school district. I am wondering how music and the arts fit into that vision. Do you believe, as I do, that a thriving music program has great value not only for the school and its students, but for the whole community, and that achieving that is worth some investment? Perhaps instead you believe that music curriculum is not a terribly important offering, and it's just not worth the effort to provide anything beyond the bare minimum of what is required by law. It would be helpful for me as a parent to know where each of you stands on this question, to know to what extent our values align. This evening, you will have the opportunity to consider hiring a part-time elementary music teacher to cover elementary general music. And I wish to advocate strongly in favor of this proposal. A 0.5 FTE covering elementary general music would free up our orchestra and band teachers just enough so that they could offer lessons to their beginner band and orchestra students. This hire kills two birds with one stone by restoring lessons to the teacher duty day and strengthening the elementary to high school pipeline. We all know the importance of a feeder program. Considering what we now know about the search for community ed music instructors, namely that it has not produced qualified candidates, the need for this lifeline to elementary music is even greater. We have officially reached a moment where inaction is no longer neutral. Doing nothing and allowing the school year to proceed without lessons in the curriculum will do great and lasting harm that will take years to recover from. Making this relatively small investment now will have a big impact in ensuring that the music program can stay afloat long enough to work towards a stronger future. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Next up is Nis Evenson.
Hello. So my name is Nissa Evenson. I'm also a member of the Music Task Force. I have two sons that I do open enroll in the Rockridge School District. I wanted to talk to you today again about considering rescinding some of the music cuts that were approved last spring, specifically restoring fifth grade orchestra and more lessons at the elementary level. You all received a copy of Dr. Benham's report using data specifically for the Rockridge District explaining why making these cuts would be detrimental to our music programs now and in the future, and why it's actually not a good financial decision. On a more personal note, I have a seventh grade son who we actually considered pulling out of the district due to some bullying issues, that decided he did want to stay at Rockridge, largely because he absolutely loves orchestra and all of the arts. He has definitely gained a lot of confidence through music. He's been writing his own songs, he even performs in front of the school by himself. He's met a lot of friends with similar interests through the music and arts programs. My fifth grade son was hoping to follow suit and start playing the violin this year as well. Data shows that making cuts to these programs at the elementary level is detrimental to the music programs at the high school level. I think Rockridge has the unique opportunity to be the arts school in the Iron Range, especially with our beautiful new facilities. I hope you'll take this into consideration, and I thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. That's the end of my list. Anybody else that would like to speak? Please state your name and you have 3 minutes.
Good evening, my name is Gina Chapman, and I'm also here for the Music and Arts program. And I also support considering hiring another music teacher. First of all, I have a daughter who graduated in the first Rockridge class. She played in the band all through her career, and she was in flags, and she thoroughly enjoyed being a musician, but that would not have happened if she did not start early in her youth. Currently, I have a daughter going into 7th grade. She has had problems in school. First of all, I've considered moving my daughter also to another school district for the last couple of years. What has kept her in this school is her love and involvement with the music and arts program in the Rockridge schools. With the music and arts at Rockridge, my daughter has learned a tremendous amount about and grown as a person. She has been able to meet and connect with so many people. She will bring the skills she has learned to other areas of her life and continue the friendships she has made into high school because of the music and arts programs. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Anybody else would like to speak?
Quickly,
Please.
I've spoken before.
Okay.
Sarah Matuzak, I have 3 children, open enrolled. We came to First Virginia High School, open enrolled there for the music program. My son will be graduating this year. He's been in choir and musical theater. That's what brought us here. My 2 younger, I have a 5th grader and a 6th grader that are, my 6th grader was in orchestra last year. He'll be joining it again. That's what's kept us here in coming to Rockridge versus going to our home school. And so I really hope that you'll consider that you have something special that you're letting fall apart. And it is what brings kids, lots of kids here, and keeps them engaged. I see so many young people going, wanting to do online school or doing other alternative things, and they need something that keeps them here. Some kids have hockey, some kids have basketball. My kids have music, and if the program keeps going down with cuts, which it will. I mean, every time you make a cut, it lessens the high school band, it lessens what eventually happens with the high school orchestra and choir. And so I think it's so important that you continue adding, or at least trying to maintain your music program, to bring students in and have really excellent programs that parents want to send their students to. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah.
Your son did a great job in Oklahoma, by the way.
Thank you.
Anybody else would like to speak?
My name is Brett Alexander. I've got 2 girls enrolled in Rockridge, one of which was serenaded you guys not too long ago with her violin. I just want to thank you guys for considering everything. I know I can't even imagine the job that you guys have trying to consider this, consider that, what we're doing, what we're not doing. So I just appreciate the consideration for trying to salvage as much as possible. And I just want to touch base quickly, again, on the community that I see forming partially organically, but also with the concerted efforts of a number of people with the numbers of the young kids in the orchestra and the band programs in combination with all the theater and the arts things that are happening. And that community is going to continue to rise, and it's going to need support. I really think if this is about dollars and cents, marketing open enrollment to that community directly in some capacity. I don't know how that could work. I don't know what would be appropriate. I think we're missing an opportunity if this is about dollars and cents to say, hey, come to this event, meet these people, see what we're up to, see how we cooperate, and all of these families, you know, make this thing happen for all these kids. If you're looking for open enrollment, you're looking for that's a reason. I made mention people aren't open enrolling for math and science. It's not, probably in most cases, but I think they definitely would, and you just heard from a couple of folks that they absolutely will. And that's a lot of money to catch even just a few kids open enrollment for everything that's already happening. So I just wanted to mention that. It's dollars and cents, I get it, and something super simple. I work for myself. I'm building a house. I don't know how I could be involved in making that happen, but I'm willing. I don't really have time, but it's important enough to make time in some capacity. So I don't really know what could happen there, what's appropriate. You know, I don't know how much, schools do a lot of marketing. They, you know, sports programs, all their programs, they market them. I don't see why this could be any different. I think just a few simple events, meets and greets, and outlining opportunities. It could be super simple. It doesn't have to be elaborate, but I would be in favor of being involved in that and not leading it. I don't have the time for that, but I would be involved in that. So if anybody here is interested in that kind of pursuit, putting something on, I know you're an events person. You're brilliant at that. So I thank you guys for everything that you have considered, and I'm hoping that something like that could possibly happen. And if all we can do is directly correlate those events with statistical data to increased enrollment, directly funneling that to those programs to save them, I think it'd be a worthwhile effort. So I mentioned before, I wonder how many kids are open enrolled already for what's already happening and what could be happening as they get older. I think there's probably more than you expect. So that's all I got. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any others like to speak? Anybody else? Paul?
Only give him 2 minutes.
I'm setting my timer, okay? Hi, everybody. My name is Paul Gregerson. I live in the district and I'm an arts advocate. Over the last few months, things have been interesting in regards to the state of music and arts programming at Rockridge. As a result of that, tonight I'm here representing a group called the Rockridge Arts Association. The Rockridge Arts Association was previously referred to as the Rockridge Performing Arts Guild. We revised our bylaws over the summer to include people from the previous arts booster clubs from Eveleth, Gilbert, and Virginia. So Eveleth was band and choir. Virginia was band, choir, and orchestra, so there's 5, plus the Performing Arts Guild, which started also in Evelyn, that represents speech, drama, fall musical, and the dramatic play. And so I'm here tonight to say thank you for your time, to listen to our concerns about the music cuts, and to be, let you know that we're here to support Rockridge and the arts as much as we can. I view this as a coalition of people who have gotten together out of necessity, but I think together we can do a lot of things moving forward. Our first order of business as we got things together was to hire Dr. Benham for this report that you've all received a copy of. And his data showed that it's not a smart idea to cut music programs. And I really believe that we're moving in the right direction after the recent working sessions that we've had. The second order of business that we did in regard to this over the last few weeks is we've collected data from individual families within the district. Parents submitted data about their families, where they live, and how they value arts in the district. We received 51 total petitions. 82 students were represented. 11 of those 51 petitions, 11 families, representing 23 students open enrolled to the district. That if you correlate that data, or if you compare it to overall data within the district, 28%, that's a 28% open enrollment rate, as opposed to 18% that Rockridge had of incoming students from other districts in 23-24. Of these parents and guardians, of the 23 who open enroll their students, that's basically the equivalent of $173,000. The total number of people in this report are 82 at $7,500 a piece. According to the state of Minnesota, is about $615,000. That's money that people have signed off on these petitions, and I'll give you all copies after the meeting. And those are people who choose to send their kids to Rockridge. That they said, I'll just read a couple quotes. I know I'm running out a little bit of time here, but I just want to read a couple interesting nuggets from here. These are quotes. Orchestra was the only reason we stayed in the district, a parent of 6. My son with ADHD finally found focus through cello. This program is what keeps him engaged. If these cuts happen, I will move to Duluth, give my kids the opportunity they were promised. And my daughter left the music program, and my 7th grade, because of cuts, and my 7th grader really, really wants to participate. So I just thank you again for listening to us over the last few weeks. I really encourage you to hire this 0.5 position. It's going to do marvels for the music programs as we go forward, and to make that something that we can all be proud of, and like Brett said, market to students and families throughout the area who can choose Rockridge to come here and get us out of the deficit that low enrollment has created. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to speak? Okay, moving on. Consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion that we approve this consent agenda as presented.
I would just like to discuss 4.11,
Okay,
just to know what that was all about.
okay, we can pull that one, take that one after. Any discussion, or is there a second on the
Yes.
support by Lotiger? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. 411, you wanted to pull that one?
Yes. I was just wondering what retaining the level 1 technology position, is this one that we cut?
Yes, this is the one last school board meeting Bill Bryson was here talking to you about. So
Right.
yes, you have already approved the cut. So to do it differently, it has to be a board action. That's why it's here. This is the one where, after more thinking, we believe that we can use this person on the 1404 construction. We don't have to be paying other people to do some of the things over there. This is also a person who can also work on, because the online is, we want to take a serious look at that, so it's an option. I'm not saying it necessarily as a kid goes all online, but sometimes it's just a course here or there. I'll use a music example if I can. So if we have a kid who wants to take music and there's a certain sequence, they want to take band and choir simultaneously or orchestra, then they could do that if we had available some online course that they could take at another time. So they could still take all the music they wanted and do it online and get maybe another requirement. But we need somebody to manage this, operate it, and look into it. And so we're thinking that this is going to be a fiscally prudent move for the board because you're going to save money by keeping this individual. If you don't, we're just going to be paying more for the 1404 building, and we're going to have to pay somebody to help us with the online part. So that's what we are suggesting and recommending.
Okay. Well, I make the motion then to approve that.
Okay.
Support.
Motion by Bonner, support by Lotiger. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
John, just one thing on the consent agenda. Good luck on your trip to Chicago for the Superintendent of the Year award.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. It's a very humbling experience.
Well, you know, we don't want one from New York or Texas. We'd like one from New York.
We'd like some pizza too, if you could bring some of that back.
That's awesome.
5.1, greenhouse update and potential district contribution. Back, Keith?
Yep, I'm Keith Peterson
Yep,
again.
welcome back.
Been here a few times, thanks. I'm here with Shark Congress. She's been working with me on the project for the last 4 years, so she just came for support. But yeah, we're at a bit of a crossroads, trying to figure out funding. This has been more expensive than we initially had planned for a number of reasons I'll kind of go through. And I'll kind of go through exactly what funds we have raised and, you know, what we're really still want to build this year, but we're at a little bit of a spot where we need to kind of move forward. It probably makes sense to move forward with the 1404 building, but we can't do that with the funds we have right now. So I'm coming before you guys to ask the district to contribute some funds to get this building built. And again, I too am totally in favor of the music and the arts. I think this sort of is a similar idea. This is a group of kids who maybe aren't going to be playing sports, but do have access to this other sort of big greenhouse that allows these kids to learn about, you know, growing and a garden club, and I'll kind of run through that stuff. But go ahead to the next slide if you don't mind. This is just a picture again. We did have the architect from University of Minnesota do this drawing. He actually came up to the school and walked around and looked at the site, and he's been working pretty closely with us. But this is what the building looks like. You can go to the next slide too. It's 16 feet wide by 60 feet long. And we're looking now at the 1404 building, so like 960 square feet. So a little bit bigger than we first started with. They came out with a newer version. We first started this, they had some older versions. They came out with some new efficiencies, and the architect here in Minnesota really recommended this size building for the school and use as a classroom. You go to the next slide. So this is what we're hoping for, is this idea of year-round access to fresh food. We're talking about, you know, having this building being used, science classes, culinary arts, business classes, agriculture education, and again, the sort of academies model idea that fits in pretty well. We're thinking that the whole campus would use it, that the elementary students would use it, the kids that are at the 1404 building, the high school students would use it too. We're working on the idea of a garden club and a work study. I've met with a bunch of different teachers. The culinary arts teacher would love to be able to grow a bunch of the different things that she could use in her culinary arts classes. Met with Allison Clay from the science department. Pretty excited about, you know, having this in some of our environmental science courses too. So something that really be integrated, not just like a garden that kids could come and use, but we're really thinking of it as a classroom. It's something that's really going to be used to give hands-on education. Go to the next slide, please. So this is where we're at to date. Kind of look through private donations. We've done a bunch of different grants for the last 4 years. Our biggest grant is Urban Agricultural Grant from the state of Minnesota. It's $90,000. And you can see kind of where we're at. We've raised $120,522.40. Our expenses are $1187.50. Most of that is we did hire a grant writer. Half of that was covered by the IRRB. So the net, we're at $119,334.90. That's what we'd like to give you guys, and hopefully more. We still are actively fundraising. Go to the next slide. So this is where our costs are much higher than we initially expected, and a couple big things that happened is we did not realize how expensive the permitting was to build on the school grounds. So Kraus Anderson, we've met with them, they've been looking at this for us. And the permitting, we got a bid from DSCW is $42,000, and I'll show what that includes, but it's to build on a school, and because this is basically a classroom, it requires a really high level of state permitting in order to build this building on a school, just like you would any other building, any other classroom. So that money was something that, embarrassing, I didn't account for. We moved, the initial was gonna be next to the sort of science wing. We moved over to the 1404 building, feeling like the location was a little bit better for the kids in the 1404, close to elementary school. The problem there, we had a couple people come up and look at excavation costs, is that now we gotta cut out a whole bunch of asphalt. So we gotta cut this asphalt, we gotta haul it away. One guy who came and did an estimate, did a bunch of digging for the gas lines, and everyone's worried about what's underneath the parking lot. No one knows 100% for sure. So the bids are a little bit on the high end right now, and we're really hoping that they'll be lower than that, but no one really knows. A lot of times you can dig these greenhouses. They built one in Babbitt, and they're partway through. And they're building that greenhouse a little bit smaller for a little over $100,000, but it's just a much better site, much easier site to dig and build. So these costs are quite a bit higher than what we initially hoped. DSTW is willing to work hourly. They've been great to work with, and they're willing to, rather than doing this bid, they'll work with us hourly to try and save some costs. Excavation is more expensive, though we did get some bids a little bit lower than that. It's just hard to know until you start digging exactly where that's gonna end up. Materials costs have gone up significantly, as you guys know, since 2021, the costs to build things have just gone up. And some of this stuff is hard to nail down exactly because until we get the DSGW plan done that tells us exactly what we need for things like HVAC, it's hard to estimate exactly what that cost is gonna be. So right now, the best we could do is $235. I'm hoping it's significantly less. I did meet with Greg Foster. He really looked at the plans. He likes it. He thinks it'd be a great build for the kids in the construction class, but wasn't able to commit like right now to doing that. So I think that that's something that's gonna save us likely, Kraus Anderson estimated like $30,000 to $50,000 off that $235. So I'm really hopeful we'll be closer to $180 when we're done, but I don't know exactly for sure. So this is that DSTW. At first I couldn't believe how expensive that was, but when they kind of walk through what's required to do this, so that's all this stuff together, architectural, there's mechanical, electrical, permitting, structural, civil, and then there's a topographic survey too. So it's, we spent quite a few meetings with those guys at Johnson and Melissa and trying to kind of work around this. They actually did reach out to the state again for us just to ask, is this truly like needed? But the state's saying, you're basically building the classroom, an in-standing classroom, you need to have this permitting done in order to build the greenhouse. So that's one big cost. You can go ahead. So this is kind of where we're at. Projected costs, I'm using 235, a little bit on the high end, but I don't want to come up short. 110 is about what we have for bricks and mortar. We have another $10,000 out of that 119. That's for curriculum development and hiring a greenhouse coordinator that we'd like to give to you guys, and we'll continue again to raise funds. So we're like $125,000 short right now. Again, Shar has done a lot of work, and we have a couple of grants that we're working on right now. So we're going to continue to try and raise funds. And again, the costs are difficult, but we're working on the grants. Talking about capital campaign, we have a letter that we put together to try and work. We reached out to Willie Speltz, and he's been great, kind of helping us with ideas to try and keep raising money. Go ahead to the next slide. So this is just basically, we started in 2021, so we've been doing this for 4 years. We signed this memorandum of understanding in February 2023 that gave us until this December to raise the funds necessary to build the greenhouse. So we have until the end of December to raise the funds. We're not gonna raise $100,000 or $125,000 in the next 4 months. We're just not gonna do it. We did get a bunch of these drawings and then some updated cost estimates from Kraus Anderson. And then part of the reason I'm here before you today is because the 1404 building is a big piece of this. We need water and power from there, and while they're working on the 1404 building, Kraus Anderson willing to help us get that water and power stubbed out. They're willing to actually do the contracting for the greenhouse at no additional cost, so they're willing to save some money for us there by contracting for the greenhouse at no additional cost to try and get this done. And so in a lot of ways it makes sense to try and move this forward while this 1404 work is being done. I think it's going to cost more money in the long run otherwise. So, but in order to get that done, I met with our board too, our IRPS is our fiscal sponsor, and we can't like spend $30,000 and then not have enough money to finish the greenhouse. We're kind of stuck in this spot where we have all this money raised, but we don't feel like we can spend part of it and then not get it done. So what we're really asking for the next is to commit up to $100,000 to help complete the deep winter greenhouse. Now, again, I'm really hopeful, and I know, again, like everyone said, this is such a bad time to ask. I know that you guys are struggling with budgets and cuts, but the truth of the matter is, we have $120,000. We'll probably have $150,000 to give the school. We're asking for the school to contribute a little bit of that money in order to build a building that'll likely be here for 30 years or 40 years, have thousands of kids be able to use that. So it's a little bit of a cost right now. In the long run, I think it's worth it. The other piece of it is there is another school that's really interested in this and has money already, and we can build the greenhouse there quite a bit less expensive. So if we can't get a commitment, then we do probably have to pivot the money to a different location because we lose out on the grant. If we don't spend the $90,000, that clock is ticking too. And if we don't give their school a chance to sort of get everything ready and get moving, we're ultimately going to lose out on that $90,000. And I have 3 kids in the school, and I graduated from the school. I really want this built here, but I want it built on the range somewhere if we can't build it here. And I do understand that this is a hard time to ask, that everything's tight. My understanding, this isn't the same budget that would pay for the music teacher. Like, this is totally separate funds, and Noel can talk about that. I don't want to take away from the school or from you guys.
I see you playing, guy. I love you.
Yeah, we love playing.
So what we're I guess what we're asking ultimately is for a commitment to say we'll contribute to the greenhouse up to $100,000. It would be nice if you would be willing to contribute for that DSGW for that permitting. Partly because our grant, if we spend more than $25,000, we have to have 3 competitive bids in order to spend that money. And there might be 3 different architectural firms. I can get that done, but I think it's unlikely with DSGW how much work they've done at the school. I'm not sure if it makes sense to, go out, but maybe other people know, and I'm willing to do that if we need to do that. But that's, I think, anything we missed or?
I just will say, I have a son who is entering kindergarten at Rockridge. We open enroll as well. My husband is a high school history teacher at Rockridge. I've been working on this project since 2021 with Keith when I was on the IRPS board. We pushed through, we've raised a lot of money, but we're at a point crossroads now where we need some additional support. So thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one question, Keith. The original one you said was smaller.
Yeah.
Do you know how much, enlarging it, how much more cost that adds to this?
Yeah, no, great question, because we talked with Carl Anderson about shrinking it a little bit, and they're just saying that based on the building, the original building was 24 by 24, so I think that's 680 square feet, but it had like a separate building in the back, kind of a cold storage, and then a smaller greenhouse in the front, and they found issues with moisture with that sort of design, so they went to this newer design, and I kind of asked them that, because in my brain, like, let's cut the greenhouse size by like 30%, but it doesn't translate that way. They're saying, at least what I got from Carl Anderson, is that you could decrease the size a little bit. You don't get like a proportional decrease in cost savings. And so as we went back and forth on that, and I'd be happy to look at that. I do think we want big enough space where the culinary arts teacher can have a section where she's growing all the herbs. Jade Andrew was talking about trying to grow some stuff for the Native American culture, some traditional healing type stuff. And then I'd love to have a section where these elementary school kids could come down and be able to grow flowers for Mother's Day. And then you also have a section. So I don't think there's a lot of cost savings, though there would be some, and we could look at that, but it doesn't sound like, at least talking to Pete Alvinen, and asking that question, that there's as much cost savings as you would hope for. It's a pretty simple building. I mean, it's like building a small house, right, for what we're doing, but it's really a pretty simple, open building. But there does need to be, electricity and plumbing and probably attached sewer, washing hands and stuff.
And part of that, members of the board, that we talked about was that in addition to what you just heard, was that we'd like to get a class in there. So we really need it to be large enough so class can go in there, because the teacher just can't leave half of her class behind and send the other half in there. So we also have kids in wheelchairs with the special ed, so we wanted it to be large enough to move around it. And it's kind of crazy, across Anderson, it's not as much savings by just taking 10 feet off or something like this. So that's another reason is we wanted to get a class of kids in there. If this was gonna go, we wanted to have a class in there so the teacher could be in there at the same time.
So it would be handicap accessible.
Say that again?
It would be handicap accessible, the entrance into the greenhouse and all of that.
Well, we'd have to, yes, we want it to be, because we want the kids over there, the special ed kids to be able to use it, the Lorenzen kid can use it, the high school kids can use it. It's one of these things where, I mean, God bless you for the amount of time you put into this. This is like a project
Absolutely.
that never ends.
Yeah.
This has been years we've been talking about this when it first came up. And members of the board, we're kind of at a point where they've maxed out what they can do on the revenue side. So it's a point that they're gonna go somewhere else and use the dollars they have to put it somewhere else. They're still here. It's kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity because we are doing construction in the 1404. It's about as cheap as we're going to be able to do it. Getting some freebies from Kraus Anderson. You know.
So where does that 100,000 come from? What pot
Good
does that come
question.
from?
What we're gonna have to do is look at capital from the 26-27 school year. And Andrea, your business manager right there probably needs a blood pressure cuff on her right now. Because what we're gonna have to do is, now this is, good point, this is not from your general fund. We're not suggesting in any way. So no staff money is being spent here in any way, shape, or form. So we just have to go into the 26-27 capital money to pick up this 100,000.
And hopefully it's less than that.
It could very well be less. We're going on the high side of up to, we're saying no more than that, but I think it's gonna be less than that.
No. I think it fits in great with our curriculum, what we're trying to do here. I really like the program and thank you, Keith, for sticking with us for all that, all these years. I think I like it a lot.
Well, I make a motion that the board fulfill their request for the money, and hopefully it's less.
I'd like to support that. Any discussion?
You can't put it somewhere else because it's called Rock Ridge Deep Winter Greenhouse.
I'd love to see Greg Foster and his class somehow involved in the construction. I think it'd be a great opportunity to just add to the buildings that they've already created, and I think it's what he's done is awesome.
And all that could change things down and be a good experience, besides.
The community has been, just a plug, I talked to one guy and he was like, who was gonna do all the loft work, and he just said, let me know what you need, basically, I'll do it for the kids. I think once we get this permitting done and can move forward, I really think we're gonna, Willie, that we're gonna find people. I've had a number of people say, let me come help, we'll get this done. So I think we're gonna be okay, but we just need a little bit more funds to move this forward. I very much appreciate the time.
Well, will this have to go through a permitting process through the state of Minnesota?
Of course, because it's on a school site.
Yeah.
But they've put
They have
those,
that in there.
they've already factored those costs into the.
That's part of the cost problem.
Well,
That's all the-
yeah, well, and the delay in starting the construction maybe.
Keith, who could we contact if we had ideas for funds?
Yeah.
Who could somebody email?
Yeah, me or Shar, I'll send you, guys, and Noel has my email, but yeah, you can call me or email me.
Okay.
Willie also, I'm sure, would take calls on this.
Pardon?
I'm sure Willie would take calls on this as well.
Okay, and I was just thinking that, to get it out there, I mean, I'm sure it could be put on our website also.
Yeah.
So we could have others give you ideas, or that they have ideas for how we can raise more money.
Yeah, and that's Shar's big thing. We've kind of held off putting it on Facebook and doing a huge capital campaign just because we're a little bit hesitant to get a lot of private donations.
Right.
And then have to sort of return them or not be able to use them. But
Thank you.
yeah, that's our part of the plan, is to get a letter or get an article in Hometown Focus. Jana Gert's been working on us and writing those articles, so she'll write an article for us. And then we do have a letter ready to go out and get ourselves on Facebook and just start, if we can get the approval to move forward, we'll just keep.
So
moving
basically,
forward.
this 100,000 will get you seated in a spot where then you can just
We can say we're gonna do
comfortably
it.
start
Yeah,
doing that, yeah.
yep, and we'll raise, if this 100,000 is gonna be, like I said, hopefully we're not gonna need that. Hopefully we'll need quite a bit less than that, and if we need more than that, then we're gonna raise the money to make sure that if there's a shortfall beyond that money that somehow comes up, we run into a bunch of rock and things are more expensive, then as a group, we'll keep working on it until we get enough money to get it completed, so we'll do it. But this really allows us to move forward. The funding, we talked to Melissa, so this will, once we give the okay, it'll go down to the state, and it take a month or two, but we should be hopefully ready to roll within the next few months, once we get those approvals from the state, and then that goes to the city of Hubble, and they basically approve what the state approves, so we should be okay if we can get moving. Yeah.
Good.
I like the multiple purposes of it too, and it meets the needs of a variety of different students.
Yeah.
I mean, the facts class can have cilantro
Right.
growing in there,
Right.
you know, like you had mentioned.
Yeah.
I like the multiple purposes.
Yep.
Okay,
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Update on transportation, including activities. Babas.
Evening, board members. I'm just here to give you a little bit of update on what's happening for the school year for transportation. I've spent all summer building routes, getting the kids routed onto the buses. This year, we're gonna be running 21 routes, depends on how you wanna look at it, or 42 routes. 21 every day, afternoon, morning, 42. Letters went out to our parents on the 18th, what bus their students were gonna be on. The nice thing about it is, if the letters, it explains in the letters, if the letters are blank, or there's no information on it, either your child lives in the school's walk zones, or we don't have any information, and that is what's spurring phone calls to me. And it helps us update our data that's not good. So that's really good. Kids that were issued or bought parking permits, they were deleted from transportation because they're driving, they don't need. So that's kind of where we're going. We're pretty much ready for school. We do have orientation coming up. That's always gonna add more kids to the buses, and it's gonna update our information more. So that's not orientation, but open house. So we're pretty much ready to go.
Great.
Excellent.
Okay. Extracurricular trips, I am still seeing we're short drivers. I see hiring contract companies to do some of our busing. That's probably gonna be a reality for this year too. I know Director Bonner, you asked last board meeting that I was at, how many trips we had done. I went back and looked, at about 78 contract trips last school year.
School year. So that was approximately $78,000 then, dollars?
No.
Because it seemed like most of them are at least 1,000, right around
Yeah,
there.
no. The total gross was about $128,000. It's the gross cost. Of that, 25 trips were partially paid by boosters, okay? And that was about $31,000 right in there. Okay, that left a balance of about $98,000 net to the school district, but you also have to understand, we didn't do those trips. So there was no, it cost the contractor so much to do it, but had we done it, there would have been a cost. So, but we didn't track what that difference is. So those trips would have had to have taken place whether we did them or a contractor did them. So there's still some cost there.
So you're like, is the difference $600 or what? You're not sure?
We're not totally sure. There is a cost to using contractors. It's more, it's definitely more.
Right. How about the issue with the bus drivers? I know that, because I know there was a email that we received about an individual that would do some of the extra, busing that we need while the regular bus drivers are, bringing kids home. They would, help a coach in their team get somewhere. But because of the contract,
If I understand correctly, it has to do with the union contract.
Correct.
okay.
So it's a contractual thing that would have to be negotiated in order for something like that to happen. And I'm assuming, so correct me if I'm wrong, Bob, but like, the extracurricular things could potentially be overtime. Is that overtime for some of our drivers, and that's part of the contractual issue?
Well, yes, the union wants us to use our employees and have the casuals backfill at the school, for getting the kids home, back and forth to home. Use them to backfill those so our employees can go on the extracurricular trips. There's more money in it for the employees to do that. We just don't have the casual people to do that. I've been contacted by people that say, I'd love to take sports trips, but I can't do that. So.
Unless the contract changes.
Unless the contract changes.
So how about, because they're coach buses oftentimes that we're contracting with, from what I understand. Is there like another busing company, for instance, like Palmer, that's cheaper that we could go through?
If I try to pull somebody out of Minneapolis, it's very expensive.
Right.
I ask for school buses, because school buses are cheaper than coach buses. But you have to understand, Schubot out of Hibbing is now doing all of Hibbing's busing. They lost their bus company. Cloquet Transit, which is LCS, Cloquet's busing. So they don't have an overabundance of school buses, so they have to send coach buses.
The likely dance partner would be that North Star Transport. If they could park a school bus, there, if we could get, that'd be ideal. They're super close. We're already doing a bunch of business with them.
And they may get one.
Yeah.
They may. The big problem is that on a given day, we may need 4 buses to go on extracurricular trips.
Right.
And that's difficult to do unless you have a ton of casual people to fill in for your road drivers.
That'd be a big commitment for North Star.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah. Well, as you know, I would like to have it changed somehow, but we'll have to see, I guess, what happens here in the future.
Well, we start negotiations with AFSCME coming up.
Yeah.
Definitely bring that up.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's money coming away from them too. We'll see. Okay. Thanks, Bob. I appreciate it.
Hey, Bob, I got a question for you. So we got the new roundabout going in, and we're gonna be spinning traffic into the, campus. And we don't really have a turn lane going into the high school. That would, because they get stopped there as traffic and people drop off the wrench and they're coming back down, those coming in that are turning left have to stop. What if we put a stop sign by the football field for the ones coming out of the wrench, and so all the incoming traffic has the right of way and they can.
I don't know. I don't know how it's, I don't honestly know how it's gonna work. I looked at the roundabout today, they've got the signs up.
Yeah.
I mean, looks like they're darn near ready to go.
If all those cars leaving the wrench and if they dropped off had to stop, so you could keep all the incoming traffic coming in,
A better flow.
it might keep the traffic coming in, and.
I think we're gonna have to kind of feel it out for the first week or so.
It'll be a learning process for sure.
Well, I know, but it might be better if those cars stop and we can keep the traffic coming in.
Or if they zippered, but, because then you're gonna get it back up
Right.
the Laurentian.
Laurentian, yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think it's
Alternate
something to monitor and maybe consider. Or even put a trial there for a week and see if it changes anything.
And it might be better to have it back up there than on the highway.
Well,
Oh,
that's- yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
I know we're not traffic engineers by any means, but,
The first day of school is always a learning experience.
First week.
Yeah, first week, yeah.
It really is nice. I mean, if you go down to the Slumberland parking lot, you can see it really well.
Good.
okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob. 5.3 Superintendent Report, Dr. Schmidt.
Couple things to update the board on. Yes, Highway 53, the roundabout is scheduled to be opened in time for school. So hopefully that will go smoothly. It'll be a learning curve for many, but we'll get through it. So school is going to start on time, so everything should be ready to go. They still will be working on Highway 53, but we should be good on the coming up on Progress Parkway. So that's a positive good news. The other positive good news is your police chiefs in the area have been fantastic to work with. So I noticed Lieutenant Swenson was here just a little while ago. Oh, there he is, raising his hand back there. So we do have an SRO for minimum of 2 days a week. And then the police chiefs have been talking, and then we're going to work out a system, or they're going to help us work out a system where we can have some additional officers who are looking for overtime come up, and they'll work in some of our buildings. So they will be, because you do get some school safety dollars, and because the cities are paying the benefits and everything else, so if an officer voluntarily signed up to go into the high school 1 day a week for 4 hours or something like that, even though it's time and a half, it's still cheaper for you because you're not paying benefits. The cities are already doing that. So we're going to give this a try and see how it works. The police chiefs are coming up with a system to do this. And it's fantastic that Lieutenant Swenson, I see you here tonight, waving your hand in the back. We're excited about this to happen. And I got to tell you, this is incredible, the police chiefs' cooperation and working together. This does not happen everywhere. Sometimes cities just butt heads, but in this case, they've been working very, very well together. So that's a positive.
Great.
Last thing to update the board on was there's a lot of staff development activities going on. Some of you were there, board members were there today. And so some of the things that are going on, just update you on some of the activities that are going on. This morning, we had Lyndon Bryan talking about unfolding individuals following their own career maps, kind of a lighthearted, positive, motivating. We also have a group of staff pairs and teachers working through the Promise Is You, having individual self-reflect on their own background, their own past, but also the kids in the class, their backgrounds, their past, and paying attention to that, because that is important, what an individual has for hopes and dreams. We're also doing de-escalation training with our staff, so that when staff are talking to students, doing a situation, they know how to do it. Because most of our staff are really good at this, but they're just good reminders on how you can de-escalate a situation rather than making a situation worse with a student. We're also we have some mandatory training that's taking place. Staff, they're always excited to do bloodborne pathogen training. We have the right to know laws, we have harassment training, and so we took care of some of that for our staff today. We also have some first aid and seizure training coming up. We've also got some literacy training coming up. We got a bunch of rotations going on. Some staff did that today. Some other staff will do this tomorrow. In addition to that, we also have special ed pairs will be working with the special ed teachers coming up on the case management and the kids on the schedule. And we know teachers are always want to work in the rooms. So I want you to know, board members, that every teacher has one full day that they themselves can pick. Some of them have already done it. They could have done it last week, where they have one full day where they can work in the room, have no interruptions from bloodborne pathogen training or anything else like that. So they've all got that, because we know how important that is. So that's some of the training we've been going on with our staff, and just wanted to update the board on what was going on. That's it.
Bloodborne pathogens is a great time, I'll tell you that. But, how about mandated reporter training? Do we do that for our staff and for our coaches?
Our staff and our coaches, they were there today. They actually did that today. And so all of our staff does go through it. And then within for coaches who are not Rockridge employees, then we will do that through other ways. We can do that through links and get the training done the same way.
The speakers who you had this morning, Noel, were fantastic. And everybody got this book. All the faculty, paras received this book.
Well, you stole it then.
I was there. And the authors cited, they're from the cities, and are just an awesome couple, and it really was a great message. I thought it was a really good
And we
message.
heard from the teachers that they wanted something motivational, something lighter, something inspirational, and that's what we did.
Perfect.
Yeah,
And
that's
we were
great.
very lucky to have them. They were awesome.
So well done. Okay, anything else? Dr. Schmidt? Moving on. 5.4, the treasurer's report. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Reardon, support by Lotiger. Any discussion?
I was just wondering what that new Dominion school is. 7,725.48, what that happens to be. Or Andrea here?
Yes, I can email you the information with the, I don't have it in front of me.
Oh, okay. But it's called New Dominion School. I just didn't know if it is on, I didn't know what it was.
Just Andrew will get back to you on
Okay,
that.
thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. 6.1, consider approval of updates to the 3-year Daikin maintenance agreement effective May 1st, 2024. Thank you, Hogan.
Good evening. I'll be quick. What, you should have this in front of you. If you go to page 3 and 4, it kind of explains what they do for us. Now, this was already, it's been in place since May. What you're looking at here with numbers and stuff is just adding the North Star to the contract.
Okay.
Because that's coming out of warranty and stuff, so we need to keep up on that, so our chillers are taken care of and cleaned, and we can read down, and it shows you everything that they do. So far, it's been beneficial that we've had it. We had a few incidents where we had the power glitches and stuff that happened. They came, they took care of us, got us going. So it saved us money in the end, I believe. But I really think we need to add the North Star to it. So that's what you're looking at in front of you. So that contract needs to be re-signed, sent out.
Okay.
Where do their service people come from?
They come from, they have people in Duluth that come up. And they're here basically when we call.
Okay,
They
good.
work real close with Jim Andrick,
Okay,
our engineer,
Sure.
Jeremy.
good. They're not too far away.
No, they're Johnny on the spot.
Good.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the 3-year
Motion by Reardon.
maintenance agreement.
I'll second.
Second by Bonner. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
6.2, we removed. 6.3, we also removed. Just teasing. Consider approval of .5 FT music position to allow for more music lessons to occur during the school day.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Motion by Lotiger. Support. Support by Reardon. Any discussion? Are we going to make adjustments anywhere else in the budget to cover this?
No, but first of all, a couple of things. If you say yes, we will work with the admin team, because when we were talking to the music folks the other night, it was a great meeting. And we got through a bunch of stuff, which was important too. And we're still not done talking. We need to talk about some long-term things to also improve the situation. So we have a fantastic and awesome music department and arts, so theater that everyone wants to come here because it's incredible. That's what we want. That's part of the long term. So in the short term, this is what you're looking at here for the short term here. And on this particular one, if you say yes, now we did talk about some scenarios that night of what could happen, and for parents and teachers who are watching right now, we'll have to talk about how that might actually work and play out. So it could come off a little differently than what you heard if you were in the meeting. We might have to do that because of some traveling things with some teachers, but here's the crux of the matter on this one. We're asking for a 0.5 from the board, and I know you've had a lot of budget cuts. And I freely admit that not everyone will agree with this. I think this is different than a lot of the other ones, because one is that you're not paying benefits. So this is a lot cheaper for you. This is probably going to be more like, depending who we find, $30,000 to $40,000. And because of this, it is true what you heard people talk about, why they come to Rock Ridge for all sorts of different reasons. Music is different. And I do not believe you're going to lose this money. I believe you're going to get it back. I believe what's going to happen is you're going to make, I guess I'm recommending you make a statement. Music is important. You're supporting music. The group supports this. I don't see how you're not coming out but positive on this, because you keep 4 kids in the system, you get 4 open enrollments, you paid for this. And so I believe from both if you're only looking at a money point of view, I don't think you're going to lose this money. I think you're going to come out ahead. I think if you don't do this, there's actually a bigger risk that you will lose that money, because some parents will make some individual decisions that we can maybe prevent happening. So I think we're going to be okay on this one.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be here. I was doing interviews for my day job. But it sounds like I missed a lot last meeting. But I had a number of people reach out to me, many of them sitting out there from the music community. And I got to thinking about it, and I saw Sarah Alexander was here with the younger student playing music. And at least 3-4 times a year, I go to Northwood Sound Bath and I listen to music myself for relaxation. So I support the halftime position, build up the program.
Are we gonna do we have anybody in mind for this position? Are we gonna have any problems filling it at the short notice?
We would have to post for it like we do for most positions. We do have someone who has said in the short term they're available to take it, but I believe the odds are high you're gonna get someone really good.
Okay. The other thing I'd like to say is that task force, I mean, I think you guys have done a great job, and I just think if we do approve this, to keep going, keep working hard, keep striving, and leave no stone unturned, and I think working together, we can really, get it where it needs to be, so.
Thank you. Agree.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 6.4, consider approval of the contract for speech therapy services between Speech Partners LLC and Rockridge Public Schools for the 25-26 school year.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Bonner, a second by Westby. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 6.5, it's the consider MSBA legislation resolution, if there is any.
It's just, I'm sure that Noel put it on because there's a timeline. If we wanted to, if there was a subject that we wanted to have a resolution go to the delegate assembly for MSBA, that the timeline runs into September and then it closes, so.
And we do that as a board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would, you'd have to do it as a board and it would have to pass as a board. In the past, they've allowed individuals to write resolutions, but they stopped that now.
Yeah, because that's what that kind of looked like, as individually we could have,
Well, you could do it and bring it to the board.
yeah.
Yeah, and then the board would have to approve it and then send it to MSBA.
Are there any topics right now that you're thinking need to be addressed or?
Funding.
More money?
Funding, and that's part of our platform all the time, so.
Okay.
No action on 6.5? No, Elizabeth? Meeting announcements, the next regular meeting will be Monday, September 8th, 2025 at 6 PM at the Rock Ridge Admin Building. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Lotiger,
Seconded.
second by Westby. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
These are-
Been here.